Hello, hello. This is Haley Gray, and I am delighted that you've decided to join us today. We have a fantastic guest here. This is Deborah and Corbin, and we're going to get started here in just about 2 minutes and let her take over and introduce herself. But while you're here for a second, why don't you type in the text box where you are from so that we can get an idea of who all is on the phone and where you're dialing in from. Um, really excited to have you here today and delighted that you are spending your time here with us. And this should be an absolutely fantastic set of webinars. And hi, Susan McGuire. Um, and Tanya Shipman is going to join us just before the 1 o'clock hour. So I'm excited to have both of them presenting to us today. So hello and welcome, Miss Deborah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what we're going to do today?
All right. Hey, I'm so excited to be here. Just a little bit about my background. I, long time ago, was an educator, so I taught young children. And, when I look back, I see dots. I'm connecting the dots to where I'm at today. But when you work with young children, you realize that, they have this fresh soul and just this beautiful way of approaching life. And as you go through life and that all starts to change, you see people, their mindset and such affecting how they approach their life from that really gregarious little open-minded, open heart soul to starting to step into some limiting beliefs along the way somewhere. So from working with young children, I went on to be a professor at the university, and working with young adults, it was kind of the same thing, working to empower them to step into their greatness. But also staring me in the face was how maybe someone didn't believe in themselves, and they would come up short with what they were trying to do because of those negative belief systems. And I'm also a fitness instructor in a lot of different various fitness areas, and same thing, meeting with women, feeling bad about themselves or not living up to their potential. And somewhere along the way, we as women, we kind of adopt these negative belief systems, and I just realized, including myself, that this holds us back in so many ways. So it really became my passion and my desire to leap into this coaching world and help women step into their power, believe in themselves. And the key I have found there is really at the onset is identifying your blocks. What is it that's holding you back? Because we all have those things. So that's where I came to where I'm at today in this wonderful world of coaching and working with women that really, really lights my fire and keeps me excited every day that I work with people. So today, just briefly, I'm so happy that you're with me, and I'm going to give you a brief overview for those people who like to know exactly where we're headed. I'm going to start out talking a little bit about the subconscious mind, and I'm going to actually take you through an exercise to help you identify your blocks. So you're going to need some paper and pencil, something to write with. And I'm going to highlight some other ways to take control of your mindset that have worked for me. And finally, talk a little bit about raising your vibration, how to keep yourself in your zone of genius, because we all know that life can get in our way, our belief systems get in our way. Sometimes things get overwhelmingly challenging, and if we have these strategies in place that we can really lean on and capitalize on, we don't have to spend or waste our time wallowing in this negative area. For me, again, this is what I found for myself along the way is I was doing a lot of great things, but I wasn't really stepping out all the way. And after a lot of analyzing that, I did some work with an energy healer, which I would highly recommend. Just really going deep inside and finding out what is holding you back. Where did that come from? So that's the agenda. So I'm going to go right into, and let me just say this: if anybody has any questions along the way or comments, please don't hold them until the end, because you won't throw me off. I'm happy to engage in a conversation, because that's what this is all about, is really stimulating all of us to have this community, first of all, that is supportive. Okay, so just talking about your subconscious mind, just briefly. Basically, I'm sure you're familiar with your subconscious mind, but I'm just going to overview. When you're born, your subconscious mind is really like a blank slate. There's nothing on it. As you proceed through your life, though, and have life experiences and, grow up in your family, you start to have these belief systems that are basically handed to you through your experiences. And as a young child, you don't really have the cognitive abilities to filter the information that comes into you. So all of your family experiences, whether they're good or negative or motivating or non-motivating, they start to get imprinted into your mind, into your subconscious. So we started to acquire these stories, these belief systems, and they start layering within our subconscious and our emotional state. And for some of us, obviously, our experiences, a lot of them haven't been positive. They've been more on the negative side. So we can basically start to accept a bunch of untruths, maybe, about things your family believed. They've been encoded in your own subconscious. So we start dragging around these old stories, these old images of ourselves, and it weighs us down. It starts to make us feel like we're chronically not enough. And for me, that was huge. I always had this: I'm not doing enough. I'm not enough. And that, for me, is my number one block that I have worked on really hard, because that has held me back. As much as I've done in my lifetime, it still has not been me stepping out fully. So for me, that was huge. So all of these experiences start creating this negative cycle of limiting beliefs. And this is so important to understand our belief systems and how this is the lens from which we view all of our life. It's the lens we use when we approach our all new experiences. It's the lens we use when we're working on our business, how we present ourselves. It's basically our perception of ourselves. And it really affects everything we do: how we live, how we interact, how we approach life. So we know that research tells us that on average people talk to themselves about 50,000 times a day. That is crazy, right? And unfortunately, a lot of it is, about 80% of it is negative self-talk. The psychologists have actually researched this. And all of this negative self-talk is like a tape recorder. It's being recorded in your subconscious. And whether we are aware of it or not, our subconscious mind is always actively at work within us. So if the majority of our thoughts and self-talk is negative, it has huge and detrimental effects on our attitude toward things and even our motivation to act and to take action. And ultimately, really, as business owners, how you feel. Your business can only be as successful as how you feel. There's a famous quote by James Allen that I love to fall back on and talk and say, it's, "You are today where your thoughts have brought you. You will be tomorrow where your thoughts take you." So this is, again, just highlighting how we have these old stories and we hold them about ourselves. And they've been given to us really by our parents, our teachers, our friends, and we've accepted them. And what happens is these ideas begin to play out as limiting beliefs about ourselves. So I'm sure, like, if you took a minute right now to think about your own experiences, your family, the way you grew up. Take a minute and think about, let's just take money for an example. Think about your family's belief system around money. What was it that you heard and felt about money as you grew up? For example, did you hear things like money doesn't grow on trees, money was hard earned, someone had to work really hard for the money, we don't have enough money to buy that, we can't afford that, it's too expensive? All of those kinds of statements, if that was your reality, you can see how if those were your primary money experiences, that now you might have limiting beliefs about a limiting belief system around money rather than an abundance-based mindset. So these kind of things can really hold us back in our businesses. So what I did, I kind of came up with an activity, which I think is pretty valuable, that I'd like to take you through, because that's something else research tells us. If we just sit here and listen to someone drone on and on, that we're going to remember about 10% of it or take in about a small amount of it. So if we get active, it'll have a lot more meaning to us. So I developed a simple exercise. So if you have paper and pencil, I'm going to have you go through it. And Haley, I'd like you to go through it as well. And what I did is, this exercise is going to help you identify and release your blocks. And here's how it works. I'm going to read a series of statements, 10 of them actually, and you can number them and actually write the statement. They're short statements. So I want you to number and write the actual statement down. After I say the statement, you're going to rate how that statement makes you feel from a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being you don't feel very good about the statement, and 10 being you feel really good about it. So for example, if I said, I am eager to learn new things, and if learning new things scares you, you would rate it with a lower number. Or if you are really a zealous person and you love learning new things, then you would rate it up in the higher numbers, a 9 or a 10. So just so you understand the rating system. Okay? Is there anybody who needs any clarification, or are we good to go? I'm going to assume we're good to go. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. I have my line muted because I'm sniffling over here, but yeah, I can hear you absolutely.
Okay. There's dead silence. I want to make sure I was good to go. All right. Yep. So the objective here, though, I just want to say before we get started, is to be completely honest with yourself. Obviously, nobody but you is seeing this, and this is really an exercise to help you gain clarity about what might be a limiting belief for you, maybe something you didn't think about before. So let's be really honest as you score these. So I'm going to start with the first one, and you can write it down. I love my body. The second one, I am confident. The third one, I am capable. And I'm giving you time here, each one, so you can rate how you feel about each of these statements. Number 4, I am smart. Number 5, I am happy. Number 6, I am loved. Number 7, I am worthy. Number 8, I am strong. Number 9, I am beautiful. And number 10, money comes easily. So, if you had time, you rated each of those. So here's what I want you to actually do with the information. I want you to look for the statement that you scored yourself the lowest on. Because Most likely this is a block that is running through your subconscious mind and affecting you in your life and in your business. And so here's the work, the part where you're going to get active in taking control of your thoughts and start eliminating these things that aren't serving you and your highest good. There's 2 action steps around these statements, and we're just going to pick the one that you scored the lowest. Excuse me. So what I want you to do, the one that you scored the lowest, we're going to create a flip statement. I call it a flip statement. So think about how you would rather feel. How would you like to ideally feel? And just create a flip statement, which is basically a new statement written from a positive framework of how you want to feel. Okay, so just kind of create this affirmation statement that just obliterates the old statement. And I don't know if anybody is going to want to share what they did, but I would love to hear what someone has done. So I want you to write your new flip statement. Take the time and write it on sticky notes and post them in places that you will see them regularly. One, right on your computer screen, so you'll see that and read that over and over as you're doing your work throughout the day. I like to put mine in the bathroom, on the bathroom mirror, so I see it and read it as I'm getting cleaned up and ready for the day. I put it in my car because I spend a lot of time in my car. I put it, on my steering wheel so I can read it when I'm at the red light. And read these statements, this flip statement over and over. In order to make a change at the subconscious level, you have to read it over and over several times a day for at least 30 days. So this isn't something that you do just today and then tomorrow you forget about. If you really are trying to identify your block and make a shift in your subconscious and your conscious mind, and just really try to break through these blocks, it is the repeated suggestion which overcomes our reasoning mind. It acts directly on our emotions and our feelings, and it finally penetrates to the very depths of our subconscious mind if we really reprogram what that old belief system. It's really possible. I've done this myself, and that's why I think this is a powerful exercise, and I wanted to share it. I have really worked on that I'm not good enough block that I have. I have these this flip statement on sticky notes all over the place, and I can't tell you how much it's helped me. Even when I was preparing for today, as good as I've gotten at working on my mindset, I had that moment where I'm like, oh man, what if I forget what I'm going to say? And I started getting, just a little bit fear-based, and I was able to say, wait a minute, you've got your flip statement, this isn't accurate, and I read it, and so it could bring my mind right back and my subconscious mind working for me instead of against me. And that's really what having a mindset practice in place is all about, is getting your mind working for you, because I am I am a living testimony how your mindset can hold you back. So the second thing, I said we were going to do 2 things with that. The second thing is really awesome, and I promise you this will be so invaluable to you. The second thing I want you to do is to create an evidence journal, and I absolutely love this part. Your evidence journal can be a simple spiral notebook, which obviously you're not going to do right this second, but I want you to do when we finish the call. Or it can be, a really beautiful hardbound journal. For example, I have a hardback journal that has a picture on the front of beautiful butterflies on the cover. And for me, just the cover of this evidence journal, the butterfly represents transformation. And I love using symbols to further impress the notion of change on my subconscious mind. So all the things that I keep around me on a regular basis have some meaning for me, even if I'm not consciously thinking of it. I just know that butterfly represents transformation, and I'm impressing that through that symbol into my subconscious mind on a regular basis. So what are we going to do with the evidence journal? In the journal, of course, you're going to have your new statement that you've written. But what I want you to do in your daily life is to start collecting evidence about how your block statement isn't even true anymore. Where's the evidence that shows you that you aren't that old belief system anymore? For me, I told you my block was I'm never good enough. What I do is never good enough. Well, I started this journal practice, and oh my gosh, not am I not only good enough, I'm more than good enough. My work is most often spectacular because I really put my heart and soul into what I do. But when I work with a client and they say something positive to me, this is what I would write in my evidence journal. And when you create a program that has an effect on somebody, you can write about how that was affecting people. So all of your accomplishments that nullify that original negative belief system is evidence. It's your authentic evidence to start training your subconscious mind in a whole new light about yourself. And what you're going to find later, we're going to talk about raising your vibration. Just reading your own authentic evidence about yourself raises your vibration immediately. It's so amazing. So I keep my journal with me when I get compliments. I teach Pilates, and when I have a woman who's always saying wonderful things about how I've changed her life, but I write down the quotes that she said. This is authentic. This is how I made someone feel, and this helps me to dispel that belief system that I'm not good enough. That's an old story. I'm not even sure exactly where I started to acquire that, but I can tell you it has permeated my life. In spite of doing great things, in spite of getting degrees upon degrees, I never, ever felt good enough. I was always, I would hand things in late. I would, for example, when I wrote my master's thesis, I did a little study and I collected all this evidence, and I was so overcome with fear that this wasn't going to be good enough that I literally put this stuff in a closet, in a bag, I'm not even kidding, and I didn't touch it for a whole year late of finishing my master's thesis, because my paper in my mind wasn't going to be good enough to pass my, the final event that you sit in front of your professors and defend your dissertation. So that's how deep rooted my negative belief systems were. They were holding me back in spite of doing things. So this is why I feel so passionate about this. I know this stuff works. So anyway, I think that you also will find that this is very valuable to you. And what I do, after about a week, I start to do the same thing with another limiting belief system, the original 10 things that we said. Now, you can compile your own statements that resonate with you, that give you an emotional response. They don't have to be the 10 that I listed. There may be other ones on there. But what I do then is I take the next one that I may have scored low, and I start collecting evidence for that. And I don't stop going back to collect evidence for the first one, because something might come up 2 weeks from now that, dispels that first negative belief. So it's just a continuous, beautiful journal with your personal authentic evidence to break through these barriers. And it really does work. It's about taking control. Any questions, or does anybody want to share their belief system, their negative belief system, and maybe you already have something positive that you already can write in it to dispel it?
I have a question for you. This is Haley. When you talk about a flip statement, can you give me an example of what the limiting belief would be and then what the flip statement would be for that?
Okay. Well, like I said, my limiting belief is I'm not good enough. So my flip statement would be something exact opposite. I am good enough. I am more than good enough. I know I am more than good enough because I give 100% of my heart and desires to what I do, how I work with people. So I like to add, a little bit of length to my flip statement. It can be short, whatever resonates with you to help you believe. It's all personal. It's what you believe, what you want to believe about yourself. And, I want to believe, and I know now that I'm more than good enough. And it's my flip statement that I read over and over. Did that help?
Yeah, it's just I'm curious to say, okay, so if I have this kind of self-limiting belief, what's a good flip statement kind of thing? Just examples.
Okay, so let's say I feel terrible about my body. Let's just use that one. I'm not saying you should lie to yourself and say, "Oh, I love my body," if you don't feel that way. But what your flip statement could say is, I honor my body, and today I'm going to, do eat well to make my body feel good. Something that's believable to you, that you are impressing upon your mind, that you want to do to change this negative belief system. So I mean, from going from if I feel bad about my body to just say I love my body, for me I'm like, well, how did I jump from that to that? So I prefer to kind of put in the statement that feels real to me, that okay, I'm going to take inspired action today to feel better about my body. That would be a flip statement. It needs to be authentic. You need to believe it. So that's why, these are all personal to you. But again, it's in the rereading and keeping that at the forefront of your mind and impressing upon your subconscious mind that you start to make these internal shifts, and that's where the shift has to happen.
Very cool.
It works.
Yeah.
I did this with
Little
some
baby steps.
and I've gotten some really good feedback. So it really does work.
Fantastic.
Anybody else want to comment about their statement? No? Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk about is, taking control of your mindset is somewhat of a job in and of itself until your mindset is really accustomed to working for you instead of against you. I feel that it's super critical to put a daily mindset practice into place. Put it on your calendar so you're sure to do it, so it doesn't go by the wayside. For me, this is what I have to do. I set my alarm. I'm a morning person anyway, but I'll get up at 5:00 in the morning before I have to get my kids up later on, just so I can have a time of solitude before all the craziness of the day starts, and I can dedicate this time to my mindset. And I'm sure if any of you have seen me post anything, I'm always posting, how I did my mindset first thing in the morning. Here's my personal practice, and you do what works for you, but just having a system in place. But for me right now, and for the last few months, every single day I read the summary from the book, The Science of Getting Rich. Now, I don't know if you've read that book, but if you haven't, you should. It's an awesome book. It is a prescription on how to get rich, but it's so much more than that. It is it's learning to live richly yourself, for your internal self, for your soul, for your heart. The summary that I read every day is only 3 pages, but they are 3 powerful pages. He summarizes the whole entire book on these 3 pages, and it really helps to keep several important things front and center, which starts my day off on such a high note, and I feel empowered and motivated, and I'm just equipped to go forth in a positive state of mind. And we need this as business owners. We need that kind of mindset to tackle our business, because it can get lonely out there at being an entrepreneur, and you don't have someone patting you on your back. You don't have a coworker sitting next to you that you're slinging ideas with, or someone's telling you you're doing a great job. We have to take control of that. For me, oh my goodness, my whole life changed when I started to do this on a regular basis. I've always read positive things and so on, positive books and all of that. But when I dedicated this hour to myself, now you don't have to spend an hour. I just like to read that summary, and then I'll go on and read other books that I'm reading that work for me. I'm just going to highlight real quick, if you haven't read the book, or even if you have, some of the things in that 3 short page summary. One of the things he speaks to is the power of our thoughts becoming our reality. So this is what this whole topic today is. he highlights how we don't need to operate from a competitive mindset, that the universe is abundant for all of us. Okay, so that's really important because, again, when we get online and we start seeing all these people posting and, someone who might do what you do, it just can become daunting. You might start feeling like you've got to get in this competitive world. And I love that he reminds us that the universe is abundant. There's so much abundance. It's available to all of us. It doesn't matter if we're all mindset coaches. There's enough out there for all of us, enough clients. He speaks about the importance of having gratitude and remaining in a continuous feeling of gratitude. And we know we've all heard those. We've all heard these buzzwords all the time. Oh, yes, make gratitude lists. But honestly, when you do start approaching your day from a place of gratitude, you start to program your mind and your subconscious mind to look for the good in the day ahead. And, you've all heard we've got pessimists, we've got optimists. But when you start that gratitude journal or the gratitude list, whatever you do to make your gratitude come forth, it really does start to impress upon your mind that things are good. I like to take it a little bit deeper than just writing out 10 things that I'm grateful for. Sometimes I'll just take one thing I'm grateful for. For example, just this morning, my gratitude was that I am grateful for my inspired ideas. And so I kind of made a web. And I realized that when I do my mindset work, it gets me in this high vibe. It gets my vibration high. And then I get all my inspired ideas. And it's just like a download that you're tapped into this universal energy. So I make the web and I say, wow, I came up with this idea for my business today. And it all came out of this time spending, developing my mindset and getting in this vibrational state. When you really elevate your vibrational state to tap into the universal energy, that's when the magic happens. So for me, I don't have to make a list every day. I just pick one thing. Today it happened to be for my inspired ideas. The other thing he speaks about is the importance of creating a detailed mental image of what we want. Now, I know, again, these are not new things. We've all heard these things. But what I had to ask myself is, yes, I've heard these things, but am I actually doing these things? And it was only when I really started committing to doing these things that I started to get these internal shifts. I had to take ownership. And that's why I love reading this summary, because he stresses the importance here of frequent contemplation of your mental image. It sets forth this energy to go out into the universe, and then the universe begins to conspire with you to create your desires. So every time I read this summary, I'm being reminded to stay mindful of my goals and my desires in detail, and the universe is working with me. Okay, so it's tapping into that energy. And if I wasn't reading the summary, I'm not sure on my own every day, life throws all this stuff at us, and a lot of times it's crappy stuff, and it brings your energy down. It brings your vibration down. I have a lot of people in my life, in my immediate circle, that I have a lot of problems. I'm talking addictions and all kinds of problems. And if I let myself swirl in that vortex with them, I can get sucked down. I feel like what I do with my mindset practice is I put this armor of beautiful energy around me. It's like an energy force. It's just an energy field. And so I'm more equipped to help my family members who I adore, who have these problems. But I cannot allow myself to go down in that negative vortex with them, because how will I serve them, or how will I serve myself in that space? And this has taken me a long time, a lot of practice to get to this place where I didn't allow myself to spin down into that. Now, once in a while, of course, things get heavy, and I do. But now with this practice, it's like you earn your PhD in your mindset practice, right? You do it so well that you can flip yourself on a dime when you feel that negative pull. You just like, oh gosh, absolutely not. What am I going to do? I'm going to get myself out. He discusses the importance of being the most you can be every single day. So for me, back in the day, even though I was a very productive person, I'm not a lazy person at all, but I was wasting a lot of time. Especially in your negative belief systems, they can hold you back. So, time could go by where I wasn't accomplishing something. So what he discusses, he wants you to live large in your space. And when you live in your particular space in the biggest way you can, this is when when you will evolve into something larger. So I'm not sure if that's making sense right now, but if you run your business to the best of your ability today, put out the best posts you can, reach out to your clients, just really go the extra mile to meet their needs, there's nowhere else to go but to the next step, which is something larger that the universe has waiting for you. So he encourages you to live largely. And oh my gosh, my vibration right now just talking about this is just going up and up, because this is what happens when you really internalize what these words are meaning. I find all of these things so powerful. It puts me in the high vibe I need and the mental state that I need to go forth every single day. Any questions so far? I know I'm rambling. Are we good, Haley? Uh-oh. Is Haley there?
I'm here. We're good.
Okay. Are we still good?
I have to unmute myself in order to talk. Everything is good.
Okay. Any questions or anything? I just feel like I'm rambling. Hopefully we're fine.
The chat box, if you like.
Okay.
I'm not seeing anybody posting any questions, but I'm sitting here listening and taking notes, like copious notes.
Okay. Another thing that is part of my mindset practice is writing a mission statement. And this has been very valuable as well. You can tell I take my mindset practice like it is the number one important thing in my life. And what I do is I write out a really detailed statement of what I want to have. Okay? Now, what's really key to writing an effective mission statement for yourself is not just writing any old thing, okay? You want to infuse this statement with as many adjectives and emotional words as you can. So what I do is I write a quick statement of what I'm trying to manifest or acquire for myself, and then I go back and I just blow it up with emotionally based words, because it's your emotions that drive anything and everything that you want to do. If you want to become a millionaire, it's not because you're going to get a pile of money sitting in your bank account. It's because the money is going to give you freedom to travel and live luxuriously and step out into your dreams. So it's those emotional things. And your subconscious mind is always listening. So when you are programming your desires into your subconscious mind consistently and over, it is listening. Your subconscious mind will conspire with you to bring this to fruition. Again, your subconscious mind doesn't have any way to do anything. It's waiting for you to impress upon it. So your mind and what you say is so critical. I'll just take a minute here. I will read you my mission statement. And your mission statement can change as you evolve and as you might have a mission statement for the week. It doesn't have to be this lifelong mission statement, but mine right now, this is detailed just recently. It says, I am thrilled and so excited to have a successful and thriving coaching business. I feel so extremely lucky to help women dispel their limiting beliefs and empower them to develop an abundance mindset and begin to live the life they desire. I am truly honored to have clients who seek me out. I am elated to be book solid with one-to-one clients and that I have a fabulous group coaching program running concurrently. I am thrilled to consistently have 20K plus months. Money flows to me and through me on a consistent basis. It is easy. I am financially independent, which allows me to live a fabulous life of luxury and to have the freedom I desire. It is in great gratitude that I conduct my business with authenticity, with passion, integrity, and excellence. So that is my current mindset or my mission statement for myself. And here is a wonderful way that you can get this working for you. Sure, you can have it in your evidence journal that you can visit it or you can put it on Post-it notes, but here is a great way. You can actually record yourself saying it. And again, use those words that really light you on fire. And when you read it, infuse every last bit of emotion in it that you can so you feel the vibration that you're trying to impress upon your subconscious and the universe. And tape yourself. Read it just superbly. And then when you're driving in your car,
Hello, Deborah, are you there? Can everybody hear me?
no, what'd you say?
Oh, you
Uh-oh, we're getting a little... Can you hear me?
Can hear you now.
Uh-oh. We're getting a bad...
Go ahead and do it again. I think somebody had their line unmuted.
Oh, okay. All right. What am I doing again? Did I get to that last part where I said to, did you hear me when I said to tape yourself and listen to it over and over?
We did hear you say to get to it and tape yourself, but not the part about listening to it over and over.
Okay. Well, the point of taping it is that you are listening to yourself read it in this high vibrational energy state, and that you are listening to it over and over several different times a day, especially when you get up in the morning, when you're doing the dishes, when you're driving in your car, you're picking your kids up, just over and over, and particularly before you go to bed, because your mind, the last thing you think about is really what you're impressing upon your subconscious mind, so you want to get it actively working for you, and it will. So you want to put something very positive in there, and again, in that emotional state. So the universal energy will conspire with that energy that you're reading that in, that you've read it in on the recording. And just listen to it whenever you can. I listen to mine 4 and 5 times a day at least, but I would suggest that for sure. Are there any questions? Are we good? Other things that I do or that are important is that raising your vibration, being able to do that for yourself is critical, again, as we are trying to connect with the universe. I know we've all heard about manifestation and the law of attraction. And when before I really had a system in place, I was trying to manifest things and so on, and things weren't happening. And I just thought, what am I, I'm obviously doing something wrong. But really what it takes to manifest is that you need to be in a very high vibrational state when you put those intentions out to the universe. You can't be operating from a negative feeling, because that is confusing energy. If you're pulled back in fear or in doubt, it's counterproductive to what you're trying to acquire. So for me, a couple things that I do to raise my vibration. Number one is exercise. This one, with hands down, is huge. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to go run 10 miles, but you do. As you exercise, what happens is the blood flows through your body, and it gives you energy, and it also opens the neural pathways in your brain. So anytime you can get the blood flowing and pumping vigorously for about 10 minutes, your body's going to have this physiological response. It will reduce your anxiety. It opens your mind up to creativity. I often, if I'm on my treadmill, if I'm running on it, I keep a pad of paper by me because I cannot tell you how many times I'll get this download of information because my mind is opened. It's just inspired at that point. I would highly recommend exercise. Another thing is, of course, we all know, is when you're giving of yourself. This provokes this internal reaction. It awakens your spirit. And this is true for anyone and all of us. When we give of ourselves, even like volunteering, or when you give a free coaching call, or when you're working with your clients, you know that this produces a positive emotional state. The more positive your emotions, the better you feel about yourself. Therefore, the higher your vibration. Another one, this one sounds kind of like a duh, but go back to your evidence journal. I can't tell you enough how good this makes me feel when I go back and read my authentic evidence. I don't go anywhere without my evidence journal because I never know when I'm going to be adding to it. And it's your authentic proof to yourself that you have the goods that you desire. It works for me every time. I love it. It's an instant pick-me-up. Number 4 is music. We all know how music affects us emotionally. Whether we hear a sad song, it can make us, feel sad, or if we are listening to music that we love, it can motivate us in a really short amount of time. So I actually have an example of that today that I wanted to share with you, and I think Haley has it queued up for us to listen to. And it's just a short clip, a 2-minute clip of Carrie Underwood singing a song, and the song is "How Great Thou Art," and it has nothing to do with this being a religious song or anything right now. But what I want to impress is how you can use music to raise your vibration is you can tap into other people's talents. And, their gifts are there for us to recognize our own talents. So not only just hearing the music, but taking your mind to a place and realizing that you're capable of this too. Yes, they might be an artist singing, but, they've capitalized on their talent just the same way you can. So before we listen to the clip, I want you to watch specifically how, while she's singing, how she steps into her power. And you'll see several times how she goes in really big and reaches so deep and pulls out all her greatness. And as you watch her, you can see how she just reaches in and truly goes for it in this large way. And it's so evident in this clip, and you'll see her where she hits her really big note at first, and then you think, okay, she's hit her biggest moment, but no, she goes back in and she goes for something even bigger, even larger. She reaches in for more of her power, and she unleashes it, and she holds back nothing. And she just goes large in her greatness and in all her glory in such a huge, huge way. And as you watch her sing, I want you to realize that you have all of those same talents, maybe not singing, but for your business. We're all here. We all have a talent, and we can just reach in there without those negative beliefs holding us back and get that greatness. So let's go ahead and are they going to be able? They're going to watch the clip, right, Haley?
Yes, they should be able to.
Okay, I hope so. I hope so.
Fingers
But let's
crossed.
go ahead and. Are we ready?
Yep, here goes nothing.
Okay.
And play video. There you guys go.
Awesome. I don't know about you, but every time I watch that, my vibration goes up 5 points. It's just crazy to, like I said, to take it deeper than just watching somebody perform. It's relating it to your own greatness. We all have talents, and we can all reach into deep inside and go bigger and go larger than we originally thought. Like I said, you see her hit that note, and then you think, wow, that was powerful. But no, she goes back in and she gets more power and she unleashes. And that, my friends, is what will really affect our lives, our businesses, our relationships, living large, living huge, identifying your talents. So I had a lot more notes, but if I could say anything in closing today, what I really want to stress upon you is the quality of your thoughts and how your reality reflects back to you what you really are thinking about on a regular basis. And this is truly what the law of attraction is all about. You are an energy source, and you vibrate and connect with the universal energy. You just need to take full responsibility, or we all need to take this responsibility and understand that your mind management system, so your mindset practices, is essential to your life management. It is the essence of how your business will be, how your life will be. And just be very mindful to watch all the times where your mind is placing its attention. Be very attuned to how you're thinking. If you find that it's not conducive to your growth, you have the power to take control and change it. And the more we do this, the more natural it becomes. And I'm going to finish with a quote by Brian Tracy. He says, "You're a living magnet. You attract into your life people, situations, and circumstances that are in harmony with your dominant thoughts. Whatever you dwell upon in your conscious grows in your experience." And we all know these things. I know we do. I've read these things for years and years and years, but it wasn't until I really got really specific about owning my mindset practice and really committing to making this my number one thing that I do for my business, because your business is only as good as the owner is, right? So anytime you spend on yourself and your mindset is an asset to you and your business. And I really hope that today's, we could go on and on. I mean, the law of vibration, or, the law of attraction is such an all in of itself. So I just kind of picked and chose a few things that have worked for me, and I hope that I have given you some things that you can do for yourself. And I know I can honestly promise you that they will change your life. They will change your life. And I know I said I was closing just very briefly. I wanted to mention, Facebook, where we all spend a lot of our time, it's a very noisy place, and it can take us away from our center. So be real mindful about what you're allowing into your mind on a regular basis and how it's making you feel. When you go into Facebook, obviously you have a mission, what you want to accomplish. It's good to interact with some posts and so on. But it can also be distracting and overwhelming. And for me, it gives me anxiety. It can give me feelings of inadequacy or the comparison factor going on. And what happened, I find that you can start losing your own voice. So we didn't really touch upon meditation and listening to yourself, but that is another part of practice that if you develop a quiet time for yourself to stay in touch with your heart and your soul's desires, that for me has brought clarity to my purpose, to my message, and it gives me peace of mind, and it's what keeps me centered and balanced, all of those things of which we need for a successful business. So I know you're in good hands with Haley and her program. I'm very thankful for having this opportunity to be with you today. And I would like to offer anyone who's on the call a free session to talk with me about your mindset practice and how to set it up, or just helping you with your blocks. That's really, I like to think of myself as a blockbuster. So thank you so much, Haley. If anyone has any questions, I'm here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Deborah. How would somebody get in touch with you if they were wanting to seek out your services?
Well, obviously you can private message me on Facebook, but I can give you my email. My website is currently under construction. I have my photos being taken next Wednesday, so that'll be up soon. But right for now, it's my email, which is DANN Corbin, CORB as in boy, IN, at Comcast.net.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. This has been fantastic.
I hope it has been. There's me, the overachiever. I want to help so bad. So thank you for having me, and have a beautiful day.
Thank you so much. And
okay.
Tanya is up next. Thank you. And we're going to shift gears here, and I'm going to get the slides up so that Tanya can come online and do her presentation. Welcome, Tanya. I'm so
Hi, everybody.
glad.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Do you see?
Okay.
Do you see your slides?
Yes, I can see my slides.
Okay, you are a bit choppy.
Okay, let me talk a little bit more. Can you hear me better? Still coming through as choppy.
Very choppy.
Very choppy. Okay, what's an option? Let me see if there's something I can do to improve this. Is it still showing up as very choppy?
It's getting better. It's still somewhat choppy, but it was understandable that time.
Okay. How about I start, and if it is breaking up, I might be able to call in. The problem, of course, is I'm in Australia, so I might be able to call in via Skype, but that might cause issues with any meeting. How's it sounding now? Is it still playing up?
It's a little bit off, but it's understandable at this point.
Is it okay for everybody else?
Can you guys hear her, understand her, Susan? Not seeing an immediate answer, but let's go ahead and she said there it's very choppy and some feedback. Are you like on a headset or how are
No,
you?
I'm just talking straight into my webcam. So,
Oh,
okay,
that was way better.
that was way better.
Way better.
Okay, right then. Well, let's just start. And if it starts breaking up, let me know. I'm happy to repeat anything that I've said, and we'll just see what happens. Everybody okay with that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Hayley, thank you very much for inviting me to come along and talk to everybody who's here. I'm Tanya Shipman and I'm in Australia, as you may guess from my accent. So it's 5 a.m. over here. It's 2 o'clock over there for you, is that right?
Yep, it's 1 p.m. here, Eastern Standard Time.
Hayley asked me to come along and talk to you about hiring VAs, which are virtual assistants. Could everybody who's on the call let me know if anybody has a VA or if anybody is thinking of hiring a VA? Or just talk, that's fine, whichever way is easiest for all of you. Okay, so Hayley is considering one. So when you first start out to get a VA, one of the biggest things is you don't even know where to start. So you have to know, first of all, what is a virtual assistant, because I've attended many meetings and talked to very many people who have just turned around and said, I want to hire a VA. And when I've asked, what do you want them to do? They go, well, they're a VA, so they should VA. They should know what I want them to do. So a virtual assistant is, this is from Wikipedia, thank you Wikipedia for existing, a virtual assistant is generally self-employed and provides professional, administrative, technical or creative social assistance to clients remotely from a home office. What that pretty much means is that they do what you tell them to do based on what you hired them to do. Virtual assistants are independent contractors, so they're not employees. So you're not responsible for paying any taxes, insurance or benefits. They provide their own office space, equipment and supplies, and you just pay for what they do. So, and they can be individuals, they can be in a multi-firm, or they could sometimes be what are called teams, where you give a task to a team, they assign it to somebody, so you don't actually talk to an individual person. With some of the multi-VA firms, you can also be talking to a team leader who either gives out the work, or you can hire your own VA. So where are all of you now? Are you too scared to even start? You're not confident? You've tried it and it didn't work, or it just seems too hard? Just let me know in the messages or talk on the mic. Yep, not confident. Also, let me know if the sound starts going on. I'm happy to repeat anything. So why are you not confident? I'm breaking up. Okay, the question I asked was, why are you not confident with getting VA? What are your concerns, or what are your fears, or what could be an issue that